In the UK, nearly 60% of individuals aged 18 to 34 have less than £1,000 in savings. Now, I don't know about you, but £1,000 doesn't even cover my rent. Now, because of this stat, I've put together this video that highlights 12 tips that you can essentially use to save more money. So without further ado, step number 1 is pay yourself first. Now, the pay yourself first rule essentially says that when you get your salary, you allocate a percentage of money that goes straight into savings. Now, you treat it essentially as a bill, so it's non-negotiable. So for example, let's say we get paid £1,000 and I'm going to allocate 10%. So £100 of my £1,000 salary goes into a savings pot, non-negotiable. This approach allows you to save proactively. Instead of waiting to the end of the month and seeing what you've got left over, essentially you save it at the start. You treat it like a normal bill and it goes into your savings account. Next is the 80-20 rule. Also known as the Pareto principle for spending, this rule suggests that 80% of your outgoings come from 20% of your costs. And what I mean by that is the bulk of where your money is going is situated in 20% of the things that you spend your money on. So for example, most of us, our mortgage or our rent will be our biggest expense. So if we look at those 20% spending categories, is there any way that we can reduce our payments? For example, can we reduce our rent slightly? Can we spend less on our car payments? Can we spend less on our phone bill? By simply downgrading your phone, you can essentially save more money. Now, it's far better to reduce costs dramatically on rent or phone or car payments than trying to scrimp and save on not buying a coffee. Okay, so the next one is pack your lunch or go hungry. Now, if you're like me, I have a very high expenditure on food. I love Pret, I love a McDonald's, I love eating out. However, it's expensive. This rule is simple. When you go to work, take a packed lunch. If you don't take a packed lunch, don't eat out. You go hungry. Now, I can guarantee you that if you do this once, you won't do it again. You will batch cook a chili con carne and you will take it to lunch over the next 3 to 5 days. Sometimes I feel like Deliveroo has me on chokehold. I'm spending more money than I can imagine on convenience than I am just preparing for half an hour my food for the week. 1, it's healthier. 2, you're going to save more money. Okay, so tip number 4 is automate your savings. Essentially, you are just setting up a direct debit to take money out of one account into a savings account. Now, I can bet you that if you went onto your banking and you looked at all your transactions, there's going to be subscriptions that you've paid for that you don't even know. There's going to be that odd £5.99 Netflix or the Amazon Prime that you've never used in 6 months. If you can only afford £10, start with £10 a month. Then increase it to 20, then increase it to 50. You don't always have to go £100, that's it, I'm going to live poor. Start incrementally. Next is Akons' 10% rule, adapted to the 100% rule. Now, we're all money conscious, and in an interview, Akon actually says how he saves money. I'm going to show you the clip and then we're going to talk about it.
I got this 10% rule. Whatever I'm purchasing isn't 10% of 100% value of what I have in the bank, I don't touch it. So in other words, let's say hypothetically, if you have a car that you want to buy for $100,000.
Right.
If you ain't got $1 million in the bank,
You shouldn't buy
that car.
don't buy it.
Right.
And that goes with your house, whatever. If you want to buy a house that costs $1 million, if you ain't got $10 million in the bank, bro, don't touch that house because you're not going to be able to afford it.
In the interview, Akon says that if you can't afford to buy something 10 times over, you shouldn't buy it. Now, that's all well and good for millionaires that could buy basically anything they want. However, for the average individual, that doesn't really work. So I've adapted it to the 100% rule. So what that means is, if you can't afford to buy the thing outright, don't buy it at all. So let's say, for example, you want to buy a Rolex, and the Rolex is £15,000. Do you have £15,000 in cash? If not, don't buy it. Now, with housing, it's slightly different. Most people that watch this YouTube channel are going to have to take out a mortgage to buy a home. So if you're going to be buying a house, maybe don't adopt the 100% rule. Now, for those medium to small size purchases, such as a car or a phone or jewelry, if you can't afford to buy it outright, don't buy it at all. What this mindset does is essentially get you out of unnecessary debt. It means that you're not going to over leverage yourself to buy something that in 6 months' time you won't care much about. Wait a week before you buy. This is a tweak on the 24-hour rule. Essentially, you're going to be waiting a week before a big purchase. I'll give you an example. Last summer, I bought a bike on impulse. Now, it was only about £500. However, I bought the bike, rode it for 3 days, and got bored straight away. I can tell you that most people that go out and buy a car love it for about 6 months, and then they're bored. because the novelty's worn off, but then they're stuck paying £300, £400 a month for this over-leveraged finance car when they should have bought a £1,000 Citroen C2 banger, driven that around and saved £250 a month. The next one is track and reduce your expenses. So essentially what you're going to do is print off your last 3 months of bank statements. Go through and highlight each individual one and where you spent your money. What you'll see is that you're probably spending too much on subscriptions, too much on food, too much on travel, and then a bulk of what you don't know where that money went. For example, you could have both Amazon Prime and Netflix. Now, do you need both? Can you binge watch Netflix for a month, cancel your subscription, go over to Amazon Prime, binge watch on Amazon Prime for a month, go back to Netflix, and all of a sudden you're not paying for two? Second thing is buying branded cleaning products. Branded cleaning products are essentially 400% more expensive than M&S's own brand. And if you're buying soap, you're literally washing it away, like you're throwing money down the sink. The aim of this is to try and reduce your expenditure by around 10%. By doing that, over the course of the year, you're going to save more and more money in towards something that you really want. Next is earn more and save the difference. This one requires a little bit more effort. So essentially, you're going to have to put more effort in to gain that promotion or to get a pay rise in your current role. But when you do, the difference on top should be saved. Not everyone's going to do this. But if you're comfortable in your lifestyle, it's a great way of putting that extra money into a savings pot. Now, for example, let's say you work in a role where you get paid £25,000 and you simply ask for a pay rise and they give it to you. Great, you're earning £26,000. Instead of that £1,000 just being wasted away on, oh, well, I'm going to actually have Netflix and Amazon Prime, save the difference. Elon Musk once said that it's easier to make £10,000 than it is to save £10,000. Food for thought. Avoid lifestyle creep. Now this leads nicely into lifestyle creep. What this basically means is that your spending increases as your income goes up. And we're all guilty for this. I remember when I was on half of what I'm on now and I feel like I'm living the same life. But all of a sudden I've got a few more things, but it doesn't feel like I'm achieving anymore. Lifestyle creep is just essentially you saying, I'm going to purchase this thing now because I can afford it. And it comes back to those wants. Do we actually want that thing that we're buying? And lifestyle creep is essentially what I see in most people. Most of my friends and family actually allow lifestyle creep to come into their life. It's really important that you manage your own expectations. If you have that extra income or you are spending far too much money and you're not saving enough, you really have to pull the reins back and think, do I need to spend this money? And sometimes that means downgrading your lifestyle in the short to medium term to save more for your long-term ambition. A great example of lifestyle creep is buying lunch out. It might not seem that dramatic, but all of a sudden you've spent £15. My advice is avoid lifestyle creep as much as possible. Always ask yourself, why am I buying this thing? Next is ask for a discount. Next time you're buying a coffee and you're speaking to the person behind the till, ask for a discount. This may seem a bit cheeky. However, strike up conversation. Ask the person how their day is going. Ask them how long they've got left of their shift and if they're enjoying their day. And when you come to pay, say, is there any discount today? My friend who I work with, he does this every day, and now they just give him free coffee. He's gone in there so much and asked for discount that every now and again they just give him the coffee for free. Now, I'm not saying this is going to work every single time, but if you can save yourself £3 on a coffee, that's £3 that you can put into a savings account. I guess you don't ask if you don't get. And we haggle with houses, we haggle with cars, but why not ask for a discount? Next time you go into the store, be polite, be nice, be friendly, and ask for a discount. Think in hours and not money. Now, if you haven't done this before, it's going to change the way that you spend money. What you need to do is work out your hourly wage after tax. And in the description, I'll link a calculator that you can do that on. And once you've got that figure and you're going to be buying something, what I want you to do is work out and ask yourself, how many hours is this going to cost me? For the vast majority of us, this is going to be shocking. So for example, a £50 t-shirt is going to cost 2.5 hours of work time. The pair of trainers at £130 is going to cost us 6.5 hours of work time. The North Face jacket at £250 is going to cost us 12.5 hours of work time. That's basically an entire day to buy a coat. So my question to you is, would you trade an entire day for a North Face coat? Live poor, grow rich. This was originally going to be the title of the video because I think it's a really interesting and captivating sentence or whatever it is. By living below our means, delaying gratification and questioning every purchase you make, you can essentially use all of that money to put more money into your savings or investing account. What I want you to remember is every purchase you make is someone convincing you to part with your own money. Now, even applying one of these, I'm sure that you're going to take control of your finances and that you're going to be able to allocate more money to your savings account. So which one are you going to choose? Are you going to decide to go hungry when you don't pack your lunch, or face a little bit of fear and ask for a discount? Or are you going to adopt the 10% rule like Akons said? Let me know in the comments. My name's David, this is Wealth Fund 21, and thanks for watching.